We're going to have our guest speaker come up now. Looking at his bio, this is a person that can give you a little insight to every single one of you in regards to your business future. His name is Patrick Schwartzfigger. Give him a round of applause. Come around.
Not bad. Not bad.
Perfect.
Not
Okay.
bad.
All right.
Good morning, you guys. Can you hear me okay? All right, cool. So I thought he did a pretty good job pronouncing my name. My name's a bit of a disaster. It's got 13 letters in it. So for those of you who are curious, my last name is pronounced Schwartzfigger. Come on, Schwartzfigger. Just jumping right in here, how many of you guys know who these two guys are? Anyone? A couple of you do. Well, let's take a look at the guy on the left in particular. This guy's name is Brian Acton. 5 years ago, 2009, he was unemployed. He was looking for work. Applied all kinds of different places. One of the places he applied to work at was Facebook, and they turned him down. So at the time, he wrote a tweet, and the tweet went like this: Facebook turned me down. It was a great opportunity to connect with some fantastic people. Looking forward to life's next adventure. And what might that be? Well, got together with a friend of his and created WhatsApp. And 5 years later, sold it to none other than Facebook for a cool $19 billion. Now, is business always this way? All right, it's not. Sometimes it is. There's a great saying in entrepreneurship, and it goes like this, one of my favorite sayings. It's kind of like wrestling with a gorilla. You don't quit when you're tired. You quit when the gorilla's tired. And you don't know how long that's going to be. So I just kept fighting. That's all I knew how to do, right? Having my own business is the only thing I've ever wanted. I've always wanted to be self-employed. I've always wanted to be on my own. I never did well with like supervision. It used to drive me crazy. People tell me what to do or whatever. I hated that stuff. So I always wanted to do it my own way. So I kept fighting. And right at the end there, it kind of all started to come together. And I got to start making some money finally. And that was fun. And I have to tell you, like I said at the beginning, being self-employed was the hardest thing I've ever done. It's also been the best thing I've ever done, right? It's exciting stuff, right? And it's a lot more rewarding. So look, what I learned something through this process, and what I learned is the road to being is through doing. If you want to be successful, you need to do successful. You need to find people in the industries that you're after, the industries that you're excited about, and see what the rock stars in that industry are doing and find a way to do the things that they're doing. You just end up doing the same thing. Now, you look at any business, there's always like mainly two main sides of the business. There's back of the house, there's front of the house. So in business terms, there's basically operations, and there's marketing and sales. Figuring out what service you're going to provide, that's not the biggest problem. The biggest problem is marketing, right? How do you get your message to stand out when there's a million other messages that are competing with yours? How do you actually get the phone to ring? It's like when I first launched my book, right? My book's got like 80 chapters in it, and so I recorded one video for every chapter, and I set up a tripod, and I would stand in front of it. I remember it took 3 days to do it, and I was like, hi, my name's Patrick, and I wrote this book, and today we're going to talk about whatever chapter this is, okay? And I just did one after another, and then afterwards, I split them all up into separate videos and uploaded them all to YouTube. And a friend of mine said to me that she thought I should change my clothes after every take. No one's going to watch 80 videos. They're just going to watch one. Every chapter is about something different. You optimize every chapter for whatever that chapter is about, and people who are looking for those keywords are going to find one of my videos. They're not going to know that there's 79 others where I'm wearing the same outfit. Just get the content up there. If you have enough content for a 10-minute video, don't make a 10-minute video. Make 10 one-minute videos and optimize them each separately. Blog posts with videos are 50 times more likely to be on the first page of Google. 50 times if they have a video embedded. Consumers who watch a product video are 144% more likely to buy. Right? Video is super powerful. People have always looked at the source of the information first, and then what was the information. That is exactly what's changed. People look at the content first today. It means that anyone can create this content and get the attention of everybody if it's good content. In the last 15, 14 years, the number of millionaires has doubled since year 2000. Now, it's not about the money necessarily, it's about the success of people reaching extraordinary success. They're leveraging things, they're finding huge audiences for whatever it is they're selling. Right? The people who are ambitious and who are starting businesses are doing really, really well. There's some people are kind of going straight while other people are leveraging and just seeing huge levels of success. Right? So what are those folks doing differently? They see the opportunity and they're thinking bigger. And they're not just thinking like a little bit bigger, they're thinking like way bigger. Because there's a really interesting domino effect that takes place when you think really, really big. When people think bigger, there's really three huge things that happen. Number one, your life's just a lot more exciting when you're doing big things, when you're chasing big goals. Number two, you end up inspiring everyone else around you. And you know what the third thing is? When you think really big, like not just a little bit bigger, but way bigger, you end up hardly having any competition most of the time because you know what? Everyone else is too busy chasing realistic goals. This is probably the poster child of someone who just constantly thinks bigger. Sir Richard Branson, he started Virgin Galactic. And what about Elon Musk? You guys know who he is? He's the guy who started Tesla. Any competition there? Nope. No one thought to make a high-performance electric car. And just last year, do you guys remember this? Just last year, he introduced or proposed the Hyperloop. This is basically a vacuum tube that goes from San Francisco down to LA in 35 minutes. You guys remember that? They're thinking bigger. What about Steve Jobs? Are you kidding me? Everything this guy did when he got there, there was no one else there. He made a beautiful computer when no one was making beautiful computers. He's just thinking bigger. He's just thinking ahead of the pack. He comes out with a cool music player when all the other ones looked like garbage. He was all on his own again. That's the whole nature of thinking bigger. Guys, the road to being is through doing. Right? Do the big thing. Go after the big thing. Right? It's not going to work every time, but it might. And then it changes everything. It doesn't just change your life, it changes the world in some small way. The reason I'm so passionate about this is because it's touched my own life. I had my dream. By going to the other side of the world, I eliminated my competition. There's no competition. No one else thought to do it. Guys, it was an accident practically. I never even thought about it myself. I had no idea that that was even an asset. The fact that I'm an American from Silicon Valley, I never even thought about it. Never even crossed my mind. Well, it turns out in other parts of the world, that's actually an asset. And a few months later, I ended up speaking at this conference in Stockholm. I worked like crazy to speak in Dubai. And once I had done it, I became the guy who spoke in Dubai. Like, that's it. That's how this stuff works. Work like crazy for the milestone in front of you. Work like crazy. Like, do whatever it takes to achieve that milestone, because once you've achieved it, you became the guy or the gal who achieved it. And it becomes part of your past. It becomes part of who you are. And people are like, that person did this. They've done this and this and this, and they went to the Oakland Marriott that year and competed. This is one of them right here. And you start building them up. You get more and more as the years go by. One of my favorite quotes is by a guy called William Gibson. The future is already here. It just isn't evenly distributed yet. Guys, we all know what's coming. We all know the trends. God, the future is right here. You guys, some of you guys are going to build big businesses. We don't know who they are. Some of you will, do better than others. That's okay. That's okay. It's all just about achieving your life purpose anyway. But the future, go change the world. Go make the world in your image. Go for it. You got all the tools you need to start doing it right now. I'm going to come back to this guy with a closing because I'm a huge fan of Sir Richard Branson. He's famous for a quote that he gave. This is going back a couple of years, but he said, "The fastest way to become a millionaire is to start out as a billionaire and then start an airline." I love the quote because it relates to the way I look at life. But I look at the world, all the different industries that are out there, all the different business options that are out there. or things you can do with your life as a series of skyscrapers, okay? So every business, every industry, like politics, right? Politics is a super tall skyscraper, and at the top of that skyscraper is the President of the United States. But there's another skyscraper for real estate, and there's one for finance, and there's one for apps, and there's one for video games, and there's one for every single, they're all just, in my mind's eye, they're all just skyscrapers, and everyone's always asking the same question, which is, what's the fastest way to get to the top? Right? What's the fastest way to get to the top of my industry? How can I get to the top, make things happen, right? Be one of the top movers and shakers in the industry. How do I get there? What's the fastest way? And most people, it's a metaphor, right? Most people climb the stairs, and it works. It's a lot of work. Takes a long time, but it'll get you there eventually. But the fastest way to get to the top floor of a skyscraper is to parachute down onto it from above, right? Guys, I believe this is possible. It's basically my life story. I believe this is possible. I believe that if you just do the things that the leaders in your industry are doing and take massive action and think bigger, that you can literally come down onto your goals from above. I believe that's possible. I believe that's possible today. The road to being is through doing. It's all just about starting to do these things, right? And starting to take action. We're talking about leadership. You guys are all leaders already just sitting here, right? Because you're doing something that maybe some of the other people in your classes, they're not here, but you are, right? Keep leading. Keep redefining your future and building the world in your own image. At the end of the day, it's just about thinking way bigger. Not like a little bigger, like 10 times bigger. That's my message for you this morning. I think it's awesome that you're here. I haven't had a chance to look at the booths yet, but I'm going to go back there and check it out. But I'm certainly thrilled to have this opportunity. Guys, thank you so much. I hope you have an awesome day today.